Hello everyone, this is Ms. Gutzel speaking. In this video, I'm going to explain how to add an assignment to Google Classroom. With that being said, let's begin. The first step is clicking on Classwork. From there, I can click on Create and then select Assignment. In the Assignment Creation menu, I can see that I can add a title. Titles could be thematic, numerical, or they could simply be the name of the activity. Instructions are optional, so if they're going to be added, I recommend directing students to open the attachments in order to complete their work. If I click on the Create button, I could create a completely brand new Google file that would then be connected to the assignment. I tend to create my items in Google Drive first, so I'm not going to use this option. Instead, I'm going to click on Add. I can now see that I can add items from Google Drive. I can add an external link. I can add a file from my local device, or I can add a YouTube video. For this tutorial, I'm going to add an item from Google Drive. In this menu, the most recent items appear first. If I click on Upload, I could upload files from my device. If I click on My Drive, I could click on the folders in order to manually search for the file. If I click on Shared Drives, I can see there are no documents here because in this account, I do not have any shared drives. If I click on Starred, there are also no documents because I have not starred any Google files. So I can also search in the search bar by typing in the word associated with the title. As can be seen, a few options have appeared, but I'm just going to click on the most appropriate option for this assignment. Now I'm going to discuss the options for viewing a file within an assignment. The first option is simply that. Students can view the file when it is assigned to them. So if you need students to simply look at materials, this is the option you would select. The next option is students can edit file. If there is going to be a whole class activity or students are going to be working in groups in order to complete items, then selecting Students Can Edit File is the best choice. The final option is making a copy for each student. What this means is that each student will get their own individual copy that only the teacher and the student can see in order to complete the assignment. This is very similar to using a physical copy machine. When a teacher goes to a physical copy machine and copies an original file, all those copies have the exact same information. So if there's an error on the 25 to 40 copies, the only option is recycling those copies or changing those documents by hand. The same is true for making copies in Google Classroom. Once an assignment is assigned to students, and the option for make a copy has been selected, either the teacher could manually go into each student's document and change the error, or the easier option is to delete the assignment and then push it out again with the correct information. So I highly recommend that you send out the finalized version of your file before assigning it. On the right-hand side of the screen, there are a few options I'm going to discuss now. The first is Students. When I click down on All Students, I can see that I can choose to assign an activity to all students, or I could pick one or two students. This can be useful for differentiating work, assigning activities to groups, or even providing more materials for support in a private way. Below that is the points section. For Google Classroom, it will default to 100 points. This can be changed to the appropriate scale, such as a 4-point scale, for example, or if the assignment is for practice, ungraded. It's important to pick the appropriate option so that students do not have any anxiety about their expectations. Below that is due, specifically due date. When I click on this option, I then can select a due date for the assignment. This is important to give students a sense of how they should pace themselves for their work, and so that you can know who is done at a specific time. Time is optional, but when it is clicked on, it defaults to 11:59 p.m. If necessary, this time could be adjusted. Below due is topic. When I click on this option, I can have an assignment be pre-sorted under the appropriate topic. For this tutorial, I'm going to use school announcements. Topics are a way to organize information in Google Classroom so that students know where to look to complete their work. Below topic is rubric. When I click on the plus rubric button, I can then create a rubric that would be within Google Classroom and would allow students to see their expectations. Please use this feature at your discretion. Below rubric is an option to click on check plagiarism or using Google's originality reports. What Google Classroom will do is it will check the student's information against the search results available in Google to see if there are any issues with information that might be repeated from other resources. This feature is new as of summer 2020, so use that at your discretion as well. Next to assign, there is a drop-down arrow. When I click on it, I can see that I can assign the activity right away, or I can schedule it. If I click on schedule, I need to make certain that it falls before the due date and it has to be scheduled for the future so that this can appear in Google Classroom in an appropriate time. What this does is it allows you to pre-plan what activities would be posted in Google Classroom. For this tutorial, I'm going to click Cancel. I can also choose to save this assignment as a draft if I think I'm going to make changes to it or I'm not certain if it's ready to be scheduled or assigned, or I can discard it if I decide that it is not necessary for this class. After clicking Assign, it may take a few moments for the activity to load in Google Classroom. Please keep in mind that once it finishes loading, it will appear under the topic with all of the information. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you grow in your knowledge of technology.